Mm. I love my lollipops, especially in Leo season. But it's the 25th. We are well into Virgo, and I'm definitely feeling my magical power. I'm this close into moving into that beautiful high tower. Yes, it's $1,200 with the gas, with electric and the light by maybe $1,600. I can do that a month, and because I was almost paying about the same in Nottingham, and the state of Houston is helping me to get on certain lists because those high rises they go for 3,000 a month, 300, 500 a month. So I'm getting on a special deal because of being homeless and being registered with certain agencies in Houston to pay 1,600, a month, which I can clearly do. I'm saving money from your donations. I had to learn to rebudget the whole thing. I don't want to liquidate more assets from the company because then I don't want to have a few debt to pay the LLC. And so I've been dealing with a lot of reparations of the organization legally, fiscally, because of all the damages that have been done by my copycat, my twin, the anti-hero, the Virgo, using my identity to open up accounts and open up businesses and taking out loans in other states in my name, literally causing me to go into $250,000 in debt and destroying two of my companies. But one is being nurtured back to health, financial health. The other one I may have to wait maybe another year because on the 19th, on the date of my birthday, I reopened the school. I've had to do this while I was homeless, hungry, sick. I couldn't afford to be depressed. I couldn't afford to be depressed. I had to shake it off. But you guys were my support. If I didn't have you, my subscribers, my cubs, they would have destroyed me a long time ago. I'm still here as a testament of your support in every way. I can't tell you how much I love every single, almost 58,000 of you. So I'm going to do something special for you. The header says, how to handle Saturn. It's under the occult. And for you to understand what happened to me, you see, I ran to catch the train. When I tell you that I was literally 2 meters from the train, 2 meters. And I fell so badly and so devastatingly. The doors opened, people came out, some were shrieking, because it was really a bad fall. And I just lay in the floor uh, with a sense of defeat and anger, and the train closed the doors and kept on moving. And people, they said, you're right, but they didn't really mean it. And when things like this happen to me, I had slippers. I was trying to run with slippers. You don't do that. But it's happened to me with shoes, sneakers, and I had to wait for another train with severe pain. But it's nothing like the pain really set in uh, a day later. And today I'm having pains in my pecs. So then I found out that I fractured 2 ribs. I did not want painkillers. I don't do painkillers. I handle it and nurse it. So nothing broke, and I'm a shaman. I can heal myself, and I use certain herbs and did like hours of massage, and I do feel better. I'm still kind of like I'm a little exhausted from the inflammation. I do like head roll-ups and exercises and turn. I'm doing longitude. Oh, you need to use one of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You can. Do you need this out of the way?
Yeah. Because I'm going to bring in there.
I try anytime to do the video. It seems like 24/7. So it's somebody coming in. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing you can do. And I tell people, you want to be in the video? Because I'm a video. That makes them run.
Yes,
Miss Sandra was here, and I say, this is how I make, my money. You want to say hi to my subscribers? She said no. Real. Oh, it was cute. No, ran right out. Yes, everybody. So like I was saying,
Guys, I drive past the floor. Y'all be a little careful when you walk in. Be driving about 2 minutes. Though.
Okay, thank you.
I got the west side.
Right. So, let me just say that it has been quite an interesting journey. Quite an interesting journey. I gotta find a Planet Fitness because so I can work out and rebuild my body. It's coming along. It's coming along. Because I've been through a lot. But I am a fighter. I am a warrior, and I am a survivor. And I take time to nurture the inner child in me. Right? I love these. Well, the reason why I fell was because I ran to catch the train. Huh?
This is going to be loud, I think.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was going to do mine in a few minutes. I moved the phone because it shakes, so it'll drop the phone. I bought headsets, but they were the wrong headsets. Just like to hear them and talk. Yeah, it goes on mute. Yes. Saturn, let me demystify Saturn for you. Because this is about how to handle Saturn. And I did something that I knew I wasn't supposed to. But I did it anyway. And that's why I fell down. So let me explain. And we're going to do this logically. I can't bite the lollipop because I hardly have any teeth. So I have to suck it all the way down and then throw it away. Because I have to be careful that they don't deteriorate enough, Because I'd rather have this type of, hey, how are you? I'd rather have this type of pain than, Ooh. Saturn in the horoscope. Saturn in the birth chart, wherever he is, by house and sign, will determine where Saturn is going to put limitations and also afflict you and cause you sorrow. But Saturn afflicts 2 places in the birth chart. The house that he's in, but also the house where the depositor of the house cusp is found. I know this is a little difficult, but trust me, you get it. let's say you have Aries, like I have Aries in the seventh house, cusp, and I got Saturn in Aries. So to find out the depositor of Saturn, which is in Aries, we need to look at the planet Mars. Where is Mars, the ruler of the house cusp of the seventh house, which is Aries? Now, if it's not Aries, let's say it's Pisces. Saturn is in Aries, but the house cusp in the seventh house is Pisces. Then that means that the depositor of that house will be Neptune. So you need to find where Neptune is in the birth chart by house and sign, and that's where Saturn is deposited. So Saturn afflicts two houses. I have Saturn in Aries in the seventh house at 14 degrees. It is deposited in the third house. Why? Because my Mars is in that house, in Sagittarius. The third house rules the environment, the neighborhood, back alleys, for the streets. It rules the streets. Trains, cars, public transportation, pedestrians, and accidents. When you have Saturn in Aries, which is the energy of life and vitality and energy, Saturn here, which is in its fall, will diminish the energies of Aries, making the body sluggish, lazy, can get sick easily. To recuperate takes longer. This was at its worst when I was younger. It gets better when you get older because Saturn rules older age and the elderly, and tough lessons that you learn over time. Saturn, if you break the word down, Saturn, well, if we go spiritually, the religious theologians associate Saturn with Satan, but it's the same word. But if you go more logical and don't go towards the spiritual, you can break the word down, Saturn. And do you actually know what the word Saturn means? It means the opposer. The opposer, or the opposition. So wherever Saturn falls in the birth chart by house and sign, you're going to experience opposition. You're going to experience obstacles, difficulties, and adversity. Saturn in Aries is like putting a stop sign in a track race. There should be stop signs in the track race. And yet you encounter them every other step. And if you don't stop, you trip up. So that's what happened to me. When I lay there on the floor, my own guys told me, now you know better than to run to catch anything. And I do know that. But I was stubborn. I didn't want to miss that train. Now I missed the train for 2 weeks. Right? This is the affliction. Saturn opposed me getting on that train because in my birth chart, I am supposed to experience delays. With Saturn in its fall in Aries, you're going to experience delays. In the seventh house, The house of open public, open enemies, relationships, partnerships, girlfriends, boyfriends, husband and wife, business partnerships, fiduciary relationships. All these themes in the seventh house will go against you, or you're going to experience very unkind people because it's in the seventh house of the public. People will like you or won't like you, but they'll choose to oppose you. This energy is carried into the third house, where people won't talk to you, they'll ghost you, or they'll talk harshly towards you. Third house was, communication language is Gemini's natural house. You may be homeless, and I have been homeless several times, and experienced losses, and been into accidents. Third house, different from the seventh house. So there's two ways that Saturn afflicts you. By the house position and also by its depositor. Now you can go online and go to Cafe Astrology or any other one of those websites where you can do your birth chart for free. Do that and look at Saturn. What house is Saturn in? What is the sign on the cusp of that house? And where is the planet, which is the ruler of that cusp? What house is it in? Because that will be its depositor. So Saturn will afflict you in two houses. And I was told to do a video about this. So you don't have to order a birth chart to know this. I'm telling you what the delineation is. You don't have to get a birth chart. But I know a lot of you can go online and pull up your chart and look at Saturn, where he's at. And that is where you're going to experience sorrow, delays, setbacks, obstacles, opposition, and adversity. Whether you like it or not. This is one area of the horoscope that you will not be able to control. But if you understand the principles involved, you can manage the energy of Saturn and exercise damage control. Because Saturn is the devil now. And since we're talking about devil, let me break down what the word devil means. It's not some being with a red suit, horns, and a pitchfork. And even if it was, that is not what the word devil actually means. Again, if you break it down logically and you move away from Christianity, spirituality, which has been depicted as a man with a red suit and a pitchfork, you will find that the word devil means slander. D-E, the prefix de, is Latin and it means below. And vil, devil, that's talking about speech, language, downward language. That's what the word devil means. So it is slander. So wherever you find Capricorn, the devil is where you, by house, is where you will experience slander, character assassination. The ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. So wherever Saturn is, it will act as the depositor of Capricorn. My chart, because I have Capricorn in the 4th house and Saturn deposited in the 7th house, the people that slander me are my own family. the fourth house, Cancer, family, my own family. The devil. The devil is in my own family. They try to have me killed for my money, my inheritance. And they severed my relationship with them, with Saturn in the seventh house of relationships and open enemies. So my family has become my enemy. Strangers have become my enemy. Seventh house, open, public. And then I experience more slander and more sorrow by its depositor in the third house. So you can technically say that you are afflicted in three houses when we're dealing with Saturn. And when I fell and I laid down on that floor and I had a soda and everything just splashed all over, you know, I was like, oh God, I'm 55 fucking years old and Saturn is still afflicting me like this. And the sad truth is that it won't stop until you die. This is a karmic position. Saturn rules karma. So wherever Saturn is by house inside and where it's deposited, depending on the planet that rules that house is located, these are the areas where you're going to experience karma. And it could be karma from people, enemies, friends, family that you have known or might not have known from other lifetimes. The astrologer should delineate these houses in this perspective to help mitigate or reduce the amount of affliction that Saturn and Capricorn is going to cause in the birth chart. This is what I had to tell you. I'm available for readings. I've been catching up on them. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of administrative work to launch the school next month, but also repair some legalities. And some fiscal concerns. It's 110 degrees in Houston. It broke the record. But it feels like 114 degrees. It's on the news. This is really bad, so I don't want to go out in this heat. I thought Kentucky was hot when I was in the military. This heat is so dangerous that you might as well stay indoor and suck on a lollipop. I like it. I had several of these. No. I'm debating whether I should do a collective reading or not. It's been years now. Years. Who gives a shit? I mean, for real, it's the same thing. What I want to focus on when I do the collective reading is not what's happening, but how to circumvent what's happening. Put the reins back in your hands, collective. So that was the message I had to give you for the occult for Saturn. It seems very simple, but if you follow these principles, life on Earth will be a lot more pleasant. If you need help with your chart, whether I charter you professionally or not, about what I was talking about today, let me know. Tell me where your Saturn is, and I'll tell you its depositor and how it afflicts those houses and what to do. Not to beat Saturn, not to outsmart Saturn, because you can't, but to manage the energy. Now, let's see who's here. Jordan 11. It is in the middle of summer, but the calculations don't point towards it because back 3,000 years ago, when they did these calculations, these poles were in different positions than they are today. And no one bothered to change the figures in the science books. So it was left that way. Jabril C., love you back. Jay Gardner, Karina Arias, Ebony, Poison Polish Nail Company. You have Saturn and Sagittarius in the 11th house. So now we gotta find where Jupiter is in the houses. And wherever Jupiter is in the houses is where Saturn is deposited. So Saturn will be afflicting that house as well. Saturn in Taurus in the 11th house. Is Libra the 7th day of creation or Capricorn? We actually don't know. I think Capricorn is the end of the completion of creation. It's independent of the 7 days. Remember, the Bible uses the word day, day, but the earth wasn't created, or the solar system, in 7 days, but 7 trillion years ago. Not 4.5 billion, like scientists say, but 4.5 trillion years. And you should not be impressed by these numbers because time doesn't exist in space. 7 trillion years is no different than 7 minutes, 7 hours. It's relative. You saw the movie Interstellar. Remember when Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway landed on that planet? They had 1 hour. 1 hour equals to 7 Earth years. When they got back on the ship, the black guy was old. So understand that it's relative. 7 million years is no different than 7 days, 7 minutes. Crystal 67, how are you? Mamando 369, Jamie, Crystal Felicia. You have Saturn in Sag, Saturn in Gemini in the 3rd house. Woo! Saturn in Scorpio in the 6th house. Okay. All these positions of Saturn afflicts in their own unique way. 23 degrees Libra in the 11th house. Very interesting that a lot of you got Saturn in the 11th house of friends, groups, clubs, organizations, and the 11th house is also the house of wealth. Jordan 11. The moon in 2 degrees Virgo means that you are at 2 degrees, means that you are in love with your work. Number 2 deals with union, relationships, like the Two of Cups in tarot. So to have the moon in Virgo at 2 degrees means that your love of your work is what will dominate your life. You have to make sure that other aspects of the chart are balanced. Karina Arias. Saturn in the third house will cause you to fight people or people fight you. They don't like your ideas and you don't like theirs. Third house of the mind, communication, language and speech. Okay? Sag ruling the ninth house and 10th house. Saturn and Sag in the 10th house. And you have Pisces, ascendant, Jupiter in Taurus in the second house. How do you choose energy? That's actually a pretty good combination. Your money should be good. Jupiter in Taurus and in the second house of money, income, that's pretty good. With Sagittarius ruling the 10th house and the 9th, your career will be like you can get public recognition. You may do a career that puts you in the public, like acting, performing, or even being in government. Regardless of the medium, it will put you on center stage. But there will be those there that may try to afflict you, knock you off your square, and betray you. Because this is a blessed position, and you will gain lots of real property too, with tangible assets. This was very good, very good. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream here because I wanted to give you that information. I'll come back and do a collective reading, but very different than what I have been doing and many people have been doing, because again, it's like repetitive same story. Okay? Please donate. Please give. 3/4 of the almost made that mistake. 281-690-8825, which is ZELLE, and of course CashApp. Fernando, FERNA, number 5, NDO. And it should be in the description box. Guys, I love you, I miss you, and hopefully we will have a better outcome. Well, we actually did. Leo season was a lot more relaxing, and I really enjoyed just being by myself. Nothing beats peace. And the lion stands still, sits still. But I'm in Virgo now. We're in Virgo season, so it's time for me to get to work. Call for your tarot readings and your birth chart request readings. You know what to do. Guys, I hope this helps somebody.